Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today is all about wireless everything and getting into deep mob learning. So, I hope you guys are ready. So, between now and last episode, I did modify this a little bit by making some item cables. And the way I routed this was just taking these tier 2s and I'm just routing the items into the droppers from these item cables. And you do need the item extraction cable. It works very similar to how this works. And so I'm literally just pumping this directly into the geothermal generator. Now, we are going to upgrade this geothermal generator. We're going to change this setup just a little bit today to make things work for our future plans for this. We are going to have a bit of change that is going to happen. So today, lots of stuff we need to do. First of all, food is kind of getting a little bit tedious to continue eating and it taking a bit of time. So what we can do is we can hop in here and get ourselves a good old Gluttony Charm. Now, Dark Utilities adds a lot of charms that are very, very useful. So you just need a regular golden apple, and you can make yourself an awesome Gluttony Charm, and this thing is awesome. Look how fast you eat. You can literally fill your entire bar within just 2 seconds. It takes no time. Like the food eating chopping time is completely gone. And this works with any food, so it just doesn't matter what food it is, it will work. So, now that that is done and we have our hunger stuff ready to go, let's talk a little bit about cyclic. And I say it's cyclic because when you search the word, that's how it's pronounced. I did look it up afterwards just to make sure. I'm pretty sure I'd done that in the past. Looked it up to make sure that's how that word is exactly pronounced, because I've heard it so many different ways. But cyclic is what Google does say, even when it pronounces it for you. So it may be different in different countries, I don't know, but for me, it is definitely that. So let's get into cyclic, and let's talk a little bit about the wireless transfer of materials and items. This is a super powerful tool that is in cyclic that I love to use. And like I said, it is very powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and make a few of these. Because we already need our resources, by the way, are doing so good. I don't have automatic piping yet, but we will totally do that very soon. It will take no time at all to get items to automatically pipe into the system. I literally just need to run it under the first layer of the base and just run it over here, and it will go into a buffer chest, and that buffer chest will have a import cable that's going to have some upgrades. That's how I'm going to do it. And I'm probably going to use cyclic cables for this because I think it's going to be the best. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into what we're going to work on today. And that is, like I said, we're going to first make the wireless item because this thing is super awesome. So there we go. And we should be able to make this. I believe I definitely have diamond. I just need to make it. And there we go. So there's a few diamond. And we can make the item transfer node. Also, I want to get the energy node, so we are going to need some, let's see, netherrack for this. I'm going to grab 8. I guess we can hop on over here for this. I hope you don't mind me recording while it's in nighttime. I find that this sky is actually pretty bright and doesn't seem to cause too many issues while recording. It does seem to be bright enough, so I don't see many people complaining about it, but you know, it's really nice. I do love this skybox. All right, so with cyclic, let's take a look. We do have the fluid transfer node, which is super powerful, and I hope to get it by the end of the day. This is probably the most powerful of them all. But you do see it requires sponge, right? And sponge may seem a little daunting to get, and that's because you have to use the Hydrator. The Hydrator is going to be a very interesting mechanic that you have to get into. And one of these actually requires power in the step to get this, because we also need to get ice. So we need a hydrator. That is, we know that. Then we also need to get ice, which is going to require a solidifier. So we have a hydrator and a solidifier. These are two things that we are going to have to make. So we have the hydrator and solidifier. So we should probably look those up while we're here. So at cyclic, I believe they're like right beside each other in the inventory. We also have a Dehydrator, which works as an automated way of dehydrating things, much like the drying rack does, so you can automate things from the drying rack there. So let's take a look at the hydrator. We need a couple buckets of water, a dropper. All this stuff is pretty simple to obtain, and I think I have just about everything for this. Let's see, water, buckets. There's a hydrator, so that's super simple. Let's go ahead and grab this. I want to fill this thing up. By the way, we can get a diamond version of this now. The diamond version holds 10 buckets of a fluid, which is super awesome. All right, so we have the hydrator. Let's take a look at that was it called a dehydrator? To make ice? I believe, oh, it's solidifier, not dehydrator, solidifier. This is going to require lily pads. To get lily pads, we do need the hydrator, looks like. So we can make lily pads with the hydrator, cactus, grass, seeds, and vines. So, how many vines do we have? I don't think we have very many. So, like I was saying earlier, we do have that dehydrator that we can make. And it requires a block of iron. And this will allow us to automate those recipes. And it's also something that we have to get anyways. It does look like this requires some power, so let's go ahead and I'm going to hook this up to our power system over here. And we're just going to get a few things in there because I know there's an easy way to get vines, and having this powered works. So, vines. To do that, we need the jungle sapling. And as you can see, you just place the jungle sapling in there and it works. So I do know we have a couple of those. Place that in there. Is it working? Maybe it needs to go in this slot. That didn't seem to work. Okay. So maybe the dehydrator is not working in this version. That's not good. Okay, so we'll just use it with this. We'll just go with the standard drying rack then. Might as well. If that's not working, then might as well go with this. So I'm just going to place these here. And we'll leave the jungle saplings because we got to get this going soon. But what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and take our item transfer node. And we can now remove our cobblestone generator from where it's currently at. Like we can remove this cable system. And we can start working on some other methods. So let's actually learn about how this works. So we have a thing called a GPS. The GPS requires some light blue dye, which is pretty simple to get. And a piece of paper and some sticks, right? Piece of paper, easy. Right, so we have 4 things that need this. So what I can do is I guess keep these same cables. I'm going to use them for something else later on down the road. They do have an internal buffer. They can be clogged, which is not the greatest thing in the world with these cables. That is one of the flaws, is they do not check the inventory to make sure a certain item can go into it. So they're kind of more or less like a hopper in that regard, with only one item slot. But what I can do is we can take a single cobblestone generator, maybe upgrade this one. Let's see, what is this next tier? I think it's diamond. Cobble gen. Or let's just make some diamond. We'll take one of these cobble gens. Surrounded with some diamond. That should be more than enough to keep up with everything. And we can place that, I don't know, why not there? And then we'll put the wireless item transfer right here. And this thing's going to fill up. And what we need to do is take these GPSs. And we just need to shift right click on the block that we want to fill up. There we go. Same with this one. And last but not least, we want this area. And then we're just going to throw them inside. Just like that. And what this will do is it will check the inventories over here, find out where the items need to go. And it should go into them. I think one of these is actually set wrong. Let's just make sure. We'll set those there. That one there, and that one there. I think one got accidentally set in a wrong place. Because that is going crazy, now that I see it. Weird. Okay. Anyways, I don't know what's going on there. But it should fill up. Just like that. That should fill up. That should fill up. And that should maintain. We'll check it later because I think there's some weird stuff going on here. These should all be on the same level. Yeah, they look like they should be. Yeah, they should be on the right positions. But that's how you do it. That's how you link those things wirelessly. And like I said, it should maintain wireless transmission. Now, I'm using this for this. It kind of seems dumb when we had a perfectly good setup. But this is useful for many other things later on, and we're definitely going to use it. So I wanted to show like the base use case for it and how you can utilize it at this point. It kind of works. All right, so we have the Hydrator. I don't think the Hydrator actually requires power. It does require power, okay. So we are going to need a bucket for this. Let's actually use this bucket. Let's make a diamond bucket. This thing holds 10 buckets of water, which is super awesome. So there we go. And we got the Hydrator. I'm just going to place it over. Actually, let's use our wireless power, for example. So if I place this here, and let's get our wireless power. Where did it go? Did I make it? No, we were waiting on this. So let's make our wireless power. It works very similar with the wireless stuff. We still need to use a GPS, but this is wireless power transfer, and it can be very powerful early game because later on you're really not gonna use this too much, simply because of the restraints of the power. It can only do 1,000 RF power transfer per connection, I believe. Or maybe total, but I think it's per connection. So let's get another GPS. Because remember, we need to put power in the Hydrator. And then all we got to do with this is actually connect it to our generator so that this receives power. Now this generator is pretty weak in how it functions. But this should start pulling some lava. We should start getting some stuff. And it should start working. And this also has redstone capabilities. It looks like is the transfer rate higher? That's 16,000. Huh, I thought it was only 1,000. So I guess it can go up to 16,000. Interesting. I was made a liar. Look at that. But yes, this is going to be filling. That should be full of power over here. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. And as you can see, it is full of power. Like I said, we needed also some grass. So let's get some bone meal. And some iron. And we're going to get some grass as well. Because that recipe is going to require it. Perfect. Alright, and we can go ahead and take this out. There we go. So we also needed seeds, I believe. And we're making lily pads. Alright, so lily pads, seed, grass, and cactus. That also all works. We're going to throw this inside the Hydrator. And then we need water. And that should work. Should do a little thing. Was it not? Should totally work. I hope. Unless I mess the recipe up. That is a very good possibility. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it has to be exact, I guess, on the recipe. Awesome. So, now that we have lily pads, let's work on sponge. Again, we're working on this slowly but surely. We're going to get here. And like I said, it's well worth it because getting our lava to be able to transfer around our base is well worth it in the end. Alright, so we should have glowstone at this point. We did make a glowstone sapling. Totally have glowstone. There we go. And time to make ourselves a solidifier. Perfect. Alright, solidifier, you can go over here. This does not require power. So we should be pretty good there. Let's do a stick. And I believe it requires water. And this actually requires a pump. So this actually requires fluid to go into it, or to be pumped into it. We can use a tank. We do have a perfect tank. This is a really good tank, by the way, from Cyclic. It holds 64 buckets of a liquid, and when you break it, it does retain its fluid storage. So this is a really, really good bucket. And we need a fluid pipe. I'm just going to use a fluid extraction pipe, as we've made them before, because they work very well. There we go. Awesome. So we can place the tank right here. Place the fluid extraction pipe right into that. Fill her up, and it's going to just take some time. And that should produce, well, some ice for us. So we need a few pieces of ice. Let's go ahead and get our dirt. Actually, we need 2, because we need 2 sponge, I believe, for what we're going to be working with. There we go. Oh. So this turns it directly into farmland. We don't want that. What is a good thing to do that doesn't do that? Interesting. Can farmland go in a bonsai pot? I wouldn't think so. That would be very interesting, actually. I want to see that. If, like, this particular farmland can go into a bonsai pot, it may just count as dirt. But it is very interesting if it does. And if it actually does anything at all. I doubt it does, though. Yeah, it does not. Okay, so I was just checking. Just checking. It doesn't hurt to test every now and then. Especially on camera. Do a little bit of testing to see how things work. So, sponge. That is the Hydrator. Gotta put the ice in first, I'm guessing. There we go. Ice in first. And it not be farmland. There we go. And more sponge. Perfect. So, now that we go back to Cyclic, we're going to take a look at that guy and take a look at the Prismarine Shards. Now, there is a pretty interesting way of getting Prismarine Shards that we're probably going to have to do. So, if you take a look at Prismarine Shards, you do see this overworldly matter. And we have Nether Quartz. And honestly, to get this Prismarine Shard is not as bad as it looks. We can also get it looks like from Prismarine Crystals, potentially. Let's see, I think there's a recipe for it. Yeah, but it requires Prismarine. So, like, the best way to get Prismarine is probably to get into Deep Mob Learning. And Deep Mob Learning is not as intimidating as you might think it is. So, Deep Mob Learning is super, super cool. To get started with it, that's if you're not doing the Pacifist. So this is, if you're doing the Pacifist run, this right here, it says non-Pacifist. You should have access to this recipe. We need Ender Pearls, and we need this soot-covered redstone. In order to get that, we need some redstone and coal. So let's go ahead and make some coal. And we're going to go ahead and make ourselves a coal block. Place the coal block down, and just right-click, or, yeah, left-click, sorry, your redstone on top of it. Just keep spamming right-click, and that's going to give you soot-covered redstone. Pretty interesting process, but that's how you get that soot-covered redstone. And I think there is an auto-clicker in this pack. So yes, there is an automated clicker. What am I doing? Why did I make a bow? That you can use. That is actually super useful. But it does require diorite, which I guess we can make some. Alright, we need polished diorite. There we go. And I don't actually know what exactly this auto-clicker, like how well it works, but... oh, yeah, I guess we could do that. So let's use this for an example. I guess we can use this coal block, place it in front, and then we can specify left-click, and it's like just a clicker, and toggle sneaking, and it also requires some power. So... does require some power. So let's go ahead and feed it with some power. Now this is super cool as well. It's from the Clicky Machine mod, which I absolutely love the name of. But yeah, it should be able to click redstone for us. So you see it's set there. We give it some redstone. And yes, you can see it clicking the redstone on there. We set it to speed 8. Look at it. It just spits all of that redstone out. So you can use this for some pretty cool automation stuff if you really wanted to. We probably will use this later on for some really cool stuff. As clicking a block and making it shift right click is a really cool thing. Actually, I wonder, does this work on here? You know what? I've not even tried this. But can that work? We need to pull that GPS out. If this works, I am going to be blown away at this. At automating something that probably would not normally be automatable. And maybe we can put it to the top as well. So let's just give it some power. And see if this is not. Because I know you have to hold the button down, but if you simulate it fast enough, it should be like it's being held down. So we do like coal. I think charcoal works in here. Will this maybe work? Okay, no. I guess it's just items. Like it right-clicks an item. Bummer. That'd be really cool. And I mean, it probably could work. I don't know. That's some stuff that we might have to test later on. I'll do some extensive testing maybe after getting a recording or something and kind of do some tests with that auto clicker, because I guarantee you there's some really cool things you can do. But anyways, we're getting off subject. We're getting off topic. We are working towards getting into deep mob learning. All right, deep mob learning. What do you got for me? Well, you do have the soot-covered machine casing, which requires some obsidian. So let's go ahead and make this, and we should be able to make the machine casing and make the simulation chamber, given that we have glass. So there we go. There's the simulation chamber. Very useful. And now we need to get the blank data module. Looks like we just need a redstone repeater. I love that recipe, Cyclic. So good. And there we go. Awesome. So we need bone. Or should we do a zombie? I don't know. Does this have a specific thing that it wants us to do underneath? What would it be? Age of power, age of farming. Deep mob learning right here. Craft a zombie data module from deep mob learning. So a zombie one. So rotten flesh. Do I even have rotten flesh? Wow. I don't even have rotten flesh. We haven't even killed a zombie yet. Which means we're going to have to do some detorching. Because there is going to definitely be some mob spawning once we detorch. And it's going to get a little scary over here. Just a little. So, if I leave that area, go over here, it should not take very long at all for some mobs to start spawning. Given that it stays dark, it does look like the sun is coming up. Might have to wait. What else do we have? Do we not have any mob stuff? Let's see. I don't think there's any other way to get rotten flesh. And that's what the model requires. Bummer. I guess we're just gonna have to wait. So, I guess I will work on some other things while I wait for that. Do we have any bone? No. Okay, so we haven't killed any mobs. Making a mob farm is something that I really wanted to avoid in this playthrough. You can easily make a mob farm and have yourself tons of materials, but there is a way of getting around that, and that's, like I said, using deep mob learning. But we are going to have to at least kill some regular mobs that spawn because, well, that's just going to have to happen. So I didn't know if the head crumbs would actually drop rotten flesh, but they did. So I kind of missed that one, but oh well. We kind of have a creeper to deal with. I do not want him to blow up in our storage area. That would kind of be bad. Looks like we got a little bit of a friend over here as well. Goodbye. So we can go ahead and torch this stuff back up. So that way we don't get any more baddies spawning in here. That would be not good. Actually, you know, probably having a torch in here would be a good idea as well. As I've only had torches in very strategic locations so we don't get any mob spawning. But so, now that we have this, what we can do is make a zombie seed. I think that's going to be the best option in our case. And it's going to take it takes zombie flesh to actually make the zombie seed. So we couldn't have made it beforehand. We had to wait till now. But we do get a chance of getting more than one. And as you can see, we did. So these usually do drop the rotten flesh, but not always. So, I mean, it's kind of a gamble. We may or may not. We may lose this. Now we get to make another seed, but we still only gained one rotten flesh from that guy. So we want to get this done as best we can. Once we get two, then it'll be a good idea to go ahead and craft the module with it. So there we go, we got two. So what we want to do is craft the module with this. So just like that, to get the zombie module. Then there's another thing we've got to get from deep mob learning. And that is the deep learner. So the deep learner, there we go. And what we want to do is put that zombie data model in here. And we put this in our offhand and we kind of see it in our bottom right hand corner. And so let's continue to craft the zombie seeds and kill them. This time we really do still want to get the zombie to spawn. Like to drop rotten flesh, as you see here. He didn't drop rotten flesh. So we're kind of stuck at this point, right? So we have to wait again for night to pass in order for us to get this data model to finish. Because we have to have rotten flesh. I guess having a mob farm would have been a good thing early on. I don't know, we may set one up later on just to see what kind of crazy loot we can actually get from the mob farms. Because I've not set one up yet. So it'll be interesting to see. So I just noticed that the market manager actually runs away from the zombies as they keep going. So I've had some really bad luck. I have killed 2 more zombies and still no rotten flesh. This is not okay. But it really doesn't matter because at this point of me just hanging around over here, I only have 1 more zombie to go, and then we'll be producing all the mob drops. So I'm not too concerned about that, I guess. So here we are with our last zombie to be able to complete our first tier on our data model. And this one actually dropped some rotten flesh. Surprise, surprise. So the simulation chamber now needs a little bit of power to run, also requiring some other stuff. But we can now use our deep mob learner, take this thing out, place it in here, and you can see right here there's a 5% chance. It's very low on this. And we're going to be making ourselves some good old-fashioned polymer clay. So let's go to make a stack of that and throw that in there. And we're looking for that matter, remember? That's what this whole thing is about, so we can get some prismarine, so that way we can get lava fluid, or fluid transferring all through our base. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty slow process, but there's our first bit of matter, and we can use this. So this whole episode is based around getting to this fluid transfer node, right? In which we need to do this. Looks like we need some quartz, actually. Let's make some quartz blocks. There we go. And we can turn that into quartz. And like I said, the whole thing built around this premise, in which we now should have access to. Oh, this is going to be so nice. So let's get the GPS right here. We're going to make 2 of them for right now, and I'll show you why. We're going to do 2, but all I have to do is place this here. That is going to constantly send fluid into this, right? Perfect. And yeah, it's going to start filling a buffer now. But what I want to do is make this tank here always have lava in it. And I want this to always have lava in it. And that way we can literally make tons of obsidian very quickly. Very quickly. So, throw those in there. That should put lava in those inventories. I think that one will work. Yes, it works just fine. I hope I right-clicked on this properly. I can't tell if that's filling up with lava or not. Currently, I don't know. I can't tell. Is that working? I know these first 2 slots, they don't seem to work for some reason. It doesn't look like we saved the location on this one. Oh, bummer. But it will. It will. It definitely does save the location. So shift right click there. That location saved. And now, when we do this, there we go. Now that should forever have lava in it, since we do have an unlimited lava gen. And now is the fun part. To make lava, let's get buckets. We can get iron. I mean, this is a decent way of doing it, I guess. I'm sure there's a faster way in the newer version. But let's go ahead and take some iron. And just think, for example, you have a whole stack of these. So say we have 7 buckets. And we fill all those buckets just like that. Well, down here, you can actually just drop the item straight in, and it gives you lava. So, we could just do it like that, and we get all of our items. And that's a super fast way of getting lava. I do love this. This is going to work perfectly for future setups, and for lava automation. So, I hope you guys learned something today. By the way, this also produces this pristine zombie matter, which you can put in a loot fabricator. It does work, and it is a way you can produce a bunch of iron, zombie heads, rotten flesh, things that you may need later on, like a little bit of our mystical agriculture essence, and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I am super happy. Man, I hope you guys have been enjoying this lovely series. I really do appreciate you guys commenting, clicking that like button, and all that good stuff. Also, clicking that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Like I said, I will see you in the next one. Guys, as always, thanks for watching.